Yo, what's up, guys? So, we lied a couple days ago when we said this is the last time we're going live on all three channels. So here's the thing. We need you guys to go in the description below and subscribe to Smith Bros because that is where we're going to have all of our podcasts. But we have a very awesome guest today. And Isaac will tell you a little bit about that after I do the original intro that we do for everything. Make sure to go to our website as always. Oh, it's already shared. Go to our website. Or maybe it's not.
No, we got to reshare
it. Share a screen. We're all rookies, so it's fine. Go to SmithBrosPodcast.com, sign up for the newsletter so that you are connected, you are involved with us, and we will be able to tell you all the things that we need and all the things that we want to show you and give you. And I'm sure there'll be giveaways and stuff going on in the future, so be sure to go to SmithBrosPodcast.com, sign up for that newsletter, stay connected with us through there. And also be sure to go to Smith Bros Rumble. Subscribe to us there because you never know when someone's going to do something that you don't want to be done, but it will be done anyway because they don't like you. So be sure to go.
Bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. Be sure to go to Smith Bros Podcast.
Just kept going.
I did it. Bada bing, bada boom.
SmithBrosPodcast.com and Smith Bros Rumble as well.
Down the Rumble, guys.
Go do that. Be sure to go there. It's down below. And as Maya, thank you so much. Smash the like button, guys. Smash it, y'all. Smash the like button and share this video. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to all the channels because, guys, we're about to get into it.
But y'all, guys, this guest we have today, you don't understand how big this is for us, guys. If you've seen the Louder with Crowder show on YouTube or Rumble or wherever it's at, Dave.landau is one of the co-hosts of that show, and he is literally one of the funniest commentators ever. Him and Steven's banter is one of the funniest things you'll ever watch.
For sure.
So if you're not already subscribed, I'm sure you are. Go to Louder with Crowder. But Dave.landau, this man was a comedian, a fellow Michigander.
Yes.
Apparently, we just found this out a second ago.
Detroit represent Michigan.
Go Red
Wings, look at that. A couple of Michigan boys.
Steven from Michigan?
He was born in Canada, raised in Michigan. So he claims to be a Michigander.
Oh,
yeah?
Respect that.
Get us on that show, Steven. Yeah. So you can talk, Michigan boys unite, go blue. Or if you're a State fan, we're not a fan. I went to see Steven Carter with Taylor and someone else a few years ago. I can't remember if it was at State or Michigan. It was at one of the colleges. And I just want you to know right now, go blue. And if you're not for Michigan Wolverines, then I'll still be on your show. It's totally fine.
About to bring home the championship.
Totally cool. You don't have any hate towards that. But Isaac and Phil, I was busy earlier today. I wasn't able to watch the video. But Isaac, we want to talk to Dave about something. A Twitter exec named Yoel Roth. That just sounds like a villain. Yeah. It's like Klaus Schwab. Like, bro, you were born to be evil. Villain. No, but like,
honestly, though.
Apparently, this guy's a psychopath. He said some really disgusting, vulgar, inappropriate, pedo or minor attractive persons type stuff. So,
we were listening to the Louder with Crowder show this morning, and Steven, Dave, and Gerald and all of them were talking about this subject, and I was just like, I've seen the name Yoel Roth looking at the files that Elon Musk put out, but I didn't really look much into him. This guy is a sick, psychopathic, disgusting pedo, is what he really is. He had another account on Twitter, and we're gonna look at some of the tweets he put up on his main account. But as soon as Elon bought Twitter, he deleted his autorific, disgusting page where he's saying all these vulgar stuff about children and porn. But we can just take a look at it. Honestly,
it's brutal.
This is his main account.
So sick.
It's disgusting. And we have before we get into it, we might as well add the awesome guest we have who's just entered. Welcome, Dave.landau, to the Smith Bros.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How about you guys?
It's good. We're happy to have you, man. It's so weird seeing like we've been doing this for about a couple years now, but seeing people that we've watched for years just willing to come on the show, it's like we're so humbled and grateful. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, I'm happy to do it, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we were just talking about Isaac and Phil were watching the show earlier, and we were talking about Yoel Roth. I know we're his biggest fans.
Good work. Good human.
Amazing human being. But hold on. Before we do get into that, I want to, you're a comedian. You started off in comedy. Can you give us a little bit of your background and then tell us how you got into even talking about political things and the Steven Carter show and all that stuff?
I started at Second City in Detroit, probably like 20 years ago. It's like 20 years ago. And then just touring around, I ended up doing the Anthony Cumia show with Artie Lang. And Anthony's fairly political, so I kind of just started talking politics, and it just sort of fell into it. And then after a while, Anthony was going to make a move, so I got offered a spot at Crowder, and I got to write sketches and everything, and I took the job. That was kind of basically it.
That's pretty simple.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, nothing. I just kept following. I don't know, just kept going wherever, and I ended up on that show, which is cool. I'm very happy to be a part of it.
That's awesome. So what got you into comedy? You know, because like everybody thinks they're funny, but like in order to actually do that for a career, you had to be funny.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in that?
It's like the only talent I had. I really just, I always messed around in school, and then in high school I was just a partier and a drug addict, and like all I really knew how to do was like make jokes, and that was it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the second I got out, like I had a teacher recommend Second City to me, and when my dad was alive, he recommended Second City to me. So I started taking classes in improv and acting and stuff, and then I just started doing stand-up. So it was really the only thing that I ever had any interest in.
That's really cool.
I honestly would have dropped out of high school earlier had I known, instead of graduating in the 5 years I was there. But it was, it was all right.
No, that's funny.
Okay.
I always thought it'd be so cool to try stand up, but I'm too terrified to just have it be crickets in the crowd, so I would never do it. But
it might be, but the third or fourth time, fifth time, that's what it's about, is like staying with it.
Yeah, you'll get. I'm sure eventually you'll get a laugh. I'm more of like the Kevin Hart approach, laugh at my events. We're not a fan of Kevin Hart, but I'm like laughing my own jokes so everyone else laughs too.
I gotcha. I like Kevin. He's all right. He's just he's definitely very mainstream. I'll say.
Yeah, his comedy definitely cracked me. Well, it must be the black side of it.
Maybe I think. You might be right.
Everything he says, like, because I do that. I'll make a joke and I'll just start cracking up laughing after no one else thinks it's funny, or they do, and I'm still laughing.
You're still going.
Only black people.
It's a black people thing. Yeah. But anyways, so this Yoel Roth guy, can you tell us? Because I'm sure you guys are a little more on it, but there's some tweets we wanted to read that he said,
and you guys were going over this,
and I'm sure you guys went over it on the show.
Early.
I didn't see.
Yeah, we just saw a couple of them.
Did you? So Isaac sent this to me, and I wanted to post it up and show everyone. I don't know if they can see that clearly because it just depends on what the video is for StreamYard even. Anyways, so Yoel Roth says Twitter will live to porn another day.
Yeah.
Singer just yelled out loudly at work. What the heck is that?
I think it's just when he works with a bunch of perverts. I mean, I don't. It's weird. Like it doesn't bother me. Like I'd be lying if I was like, I've never heard of internet porn or used it or seen it. It's just that it's just that that's like one of the things that he did. That's sort of just this tip of a very disgusting iceberg. It's more of his alt account. Like I didn't find out what an otter was until today.
An otter? What's an
otter? It's a hairy. Like if you're not big enough to be a bear in the gay sex world, you're an otter.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And he had a tweet about being an otter holding a baby. And that's when we were like, okay, so this guy is just a giant piece of crap. And so he deleted all this stuff from his actual alternative account. So what's scary is this is his main account that he put out as an employee of Twitter. And then it turned out that he had an actual college, I guess, thesis at the end of his, well, I don't know what his major was, pedophilia, but part of it was the thesis was discussing how grown men should be able, or grown ups should be able to date children on online platforms. And then that's the guy who gets hired to be head of security at Twitter by who was Jack Dorsey.
Yeah, guys, this is our hero right here. Just so you can get a good look at him. This dude looks like he's a predator. What does he use?
He does though.
His eyes are giving like scary. That's all I'm saying.
I like children.
It's
sure.
given.
Oh yeah.
I don't mind seeing child porn on the internet. That's what it's.
No, he owns much of it.
No, that's disgusting, man. A quick random sidebar. I was at work today, and someone told me that there was a guy who worked there 5 months before I started, back when I worked there in 2015, and he is in prison now for child pornography and raping his like sister's child. I was just like, it's an actual thing. It's a real thing that's happening all over the world, and it's a thing that we can't talk about, like, ever, because that's the thing everyone would agree on. So then the mainstream media wouldn't be able to divide us that way. And so that's my conclusion on that topic.
I don't think you're wrong. It's so weird because it's like everybody will go, because I was fairly moderate, and to be honest, I was liberal most of my life. And then when I started seeing this, I don't even know if it's necessarily a political side at this point, other than just a counterculture side of, they'll go, okay, the right's obsessed with pedophilia. It's like, no, we're just exposing you. And every time we expose the side, this is what's being hidden. That's what's be about the whole. So if you say it, they want to call you all these names and everything else, but it's like, no, we're just exposing what you are. It's creepy as hell.
You don't get to do something and then get mad at us for calling you out for it. Like, you do something just completely disgusting and out of pocket, and it's sickening, and then be like, "Oh, you guys are just, yeah, we're just." What are you talking about? Yeah, we're just. Yeah, you're being psycho. You're being crazy. There's children. It blows my mind. I'm like, I was just sitting there in awe today, just like that happened. And so there's some other tweets like, "Shout out to age dragon toddlers and tiaras in class just now. Wait, you have a hit on your hands." What the heck is he talking about? Like, why are you bringing up like children and toddlers and?
Well, if toddlers and tiaras too, the one girl killed herself last year, who was like a huge star from that show. So that's one, and not to be, I mean, sorry, I know I'm a comic, but this is just the blunt sadness of, the reality of this stuff. Is there is this underbelly to it, and I've been in recovery for 13 years, but I've been in and out of like rehabs and stuff for a long time, and in jail. And it's part of that is you meet people where they have been abused, and you realize now with the internet, it's far greater than you realize. Like it's a really fairly big problem. And I think that it's probably one of the most ignored issues going on in our society because of the internet and the people with money who allow it to exist.
Yeah, it's people that have money that are like feeding it too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so sickening to know that, because we've talked about this before. Like, we were like Ghislaine Maxwell and that whole episode. Like, we all hear about I remember you guys covered the Kyle Rittenhouse case. I think he even had him on the show, I believe. And I remember like that's all over the news. We all get to see it. They're all vilifying Kyle, making him feel like he's a bad guy, even though he just defended himself. That's literally all he did. He was 17 years old, and that's like cases everywhere for everyone to see. It's a pretty clear-cut case. The guy's innocent. But then you see the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. It's like they wouldn't. It wasn't mainstream. It didn't let everyone see. And then, as a matter of fact, the person that was giving updates on Twitter, I think they got their Twitter banned or like blocked or something. So it's just like, you're not gonna know anything. Like it's insane.
No, and when I met Kyle, I even told him. I said, I thought you were a white supremacist, because that's honestly what the news had said for so long. That's what I thought he was for like a period of time. And then I was like, oh, you killed 3 pedophiles? Like, oh, it's wonderful. And it's like he didn't just do it. Like, he didn't just do it to do it, which would have been fine by me anyway. But like he was defending himself. And it just so happened that the 3 people that he killed, extra deserved it. But you're right, though. And now you have this black book that belonged to a guy who ran a sex island for underage. And for the fact that you had Clintons there, you had celebrities there, you had stars there. And the only person they tried to pin it on was Trump, who had like a dinner there one time and then banned him from Mar-a-Lago once he found out what he was into, never associated with him. And it's like Trump or not, that was not somebody who was an issue. But now you have all these other people that are an issue, and we're just not supposed to know who they are.
And they just, for some reason, are reluctant to show us the list of people that were involved in it. What's weird about that is, like, someone said this the other day on a TikTok. I know it's an amazing platform, TikTok. But someone said something about how I think the reason why we don't have the flight logs is because there's a certain person who's not on the list. He said if this person was on the list, I guarantee you it'd be all over the media, it'd be everywhere for you to see. But because this certain person is not on the list, that's why you guys do not know. Yeah, of course, it's Trump. It's because it's like if he's not involved in this kind of stuff, then we can't pin it on him. But if we don't show anybody what it is, we continuously push some narrative that, it's possible that he probably was. Look at all these pictures from 20 years ago that they were together in a room. They're best friends and all that stuff, but like they completely ignore the list that did get leaked, where there was like celebrities like Will Smith and the Clintons on there. But I was like, no, that list was just we'll just ignore that one. But
you had celebrities on an airplane and stuff. They were like, "Oh, we were going to do a benefit," and you're like, "What? What?"
Yeah.
If it was Trump, you would have seen the flight logs, but every name would have had marker over it, except
and it was the Donald J. Trump.
Exactly.
And in bold with a magnifying glass. People that couldn't read it. No, it's insane. It's like I don't even know what to do. But this Yoel Roth is Twitter. I hated Twitter. I only literally started using Twitter again because of Elon buying it. Not that I'm the biggest fan of Elon either. I don't want to burn a chip in my brain. But I am appreciative of the free speech element that he's claiming to portray. But I mean, then he banned Kanye. So I mean, regardless of what you think of what Kanye said, I don't think you should be censored because that's
I don't either. Yeah.
But it's just this Yoel Roth guy. He was an exec for what was the division, Isaac? What was it?
It was like safety and trust or something like that. Trust and safety.
Safety and trust, but he's promoting pornography, talking about children, toddlers and tiaras, pedophilia. I mean, it's one thing to be sarcastic. I'm not trying to be the person that cancels people for making jokes. Like, I think comedians should be, you should be able to be protected by the fact that you're teasing and joking. Like, I think it's so dumb. People get canceled. Like Dave Chappelle. I think, but it's like
Chappelle. I opened for Chappelle several times, and I opened for him when he walked away to like 7,000 people. And this is when he walked away from his money, and I opened for him when he came back. And it's like, that's a guy who should be honored. And the fact that I know he's on SNL and I know he's still like looked at as the greats by every comic who is great, but it is disgusting what they're trying to pin him as for seriously doing an hour special about his friend who was trans. It makes zero sense.
Fun, right?
I didn't know it was his friend.
Yeah, if you watch it, he talks about how much he respected this person. Like, I'll call him a she or whatever. Like, it's not a big deal to me. But he would make jokes. There was a crowd reaction. It was one of the funniest things. He said one thing, and there were these like two fat girls with like blue hair, and they just like were so triggered by his comments on trans. Meanwhile, he's talking about this is his friend the whole time.
It was at the Fillmore in Detroit, and it like cuts to these two women just.
Yeah. That's insane. I was talking to my 64-year-old friend who I work with about how, like, man, it's probably really weird for you to like live in this day and age and see the like things that you would say on a regular that would have like that no one would ever bat an eye. It's just like, oh, you're canceled. Oh, you're all the phobias. You're all the ist because you said something that is, you're just teasing. You're making a joke. He's like, yeah, man, it's weird. Because I'll see him all the time, and he'll just say the most out-of-pocket things, seemingly, because of the world we live in today and the culture that's being created by this narrative that's been spun by this evil people. And it's just like, that's crazy, because I was like, man, I wish I was raised in your time era. Like, I wish I grew up with you. So, like, it's the end of my life, and like, okay, it's getting crazy, but it's fine. I had a good life. Now I'm young, and we're young, and we're in this area of like, oh, I can get canceled for saying something, like not us specifically, because we are openly stating this as what everyone knows us for doing this. Like, if you're trying to work like a regular 9-to-5 job and you believe the way we do, it's like, oh, well, if you're in California, you'll probably get fired if they find out. Like,
absolutely they would.
Insane, though. Like, that's what's wild. The world that we live in today, where we can have an exec for privacy and safety or whatever you said.
This guy,
Yoel Roth.
Yeah.
Some psycho pedo porn. Like, here's the thing. I was addicted to porn. I mean, addicted, whatever you call it. I was watching it a lot.
You were a man who discovered internet porn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think everybody's guilty.
Yeah.
Everybody's one arm is a little bigger than the other one. We get it.
But what I'm never gonna say that that like, oh, like justify it and say it's a good thing. Like, no, I think it's a bad thing. It's not good for your mental health. Go to Peterson talks about this a lot. Like, it's not good for you. And it's like, but I'm not like the fact that he's glorifying it and tweeting about it as an executive on the app that he's tweeting these things, where we're supposed to be protecting people. Like, there's people, I don't know if there's an age limit of when you're supposed to get in Twitter, technically, but nobody's actually following that, and yet you're still promoting things that are inappropriate, and you don't care.
Yeah, sorry, I mean, but no, it's the same, because it was the same thing. Like, when I was a kid, it was before Tipper Gore came out with parental advisory. And you could buy, like, I could just go buy, like, Ice-T Cop Killer, or I could buy Eazy-E, NWA, whatever it was, like, that you weren't supposed to buy, but I could get a single. and then they put that label on it, and then you just had to have somebody who was a little bit older get a single because it was 16. So it's like there was always a loophole. Like you're always going to be able to get what you want, but when it comes to like porn, it's always been fairly more difficult. So when it's like language versus porn, it's a different thing. And with this, it's like you're talking about sexualizing, not even just sexualizing kids, but it's like how you're protecting children against this. So I know the kids are going to find their way around it, and I understand that when you're at a certain age, like when you start being curious and stuff. But when you're 7, 8, 9, I feel like that's more being forced than it is a curiosity.
Yeah,
right?
Because you just don't care, you know, and that's the problem. Is they're trying to normalize something that is completely. It's the most disgusting thing you can do, in my opinion, because you're killing someone in a different way.
Agree wholeheartedly. You don't get to use a kid who has an imaginative mind, who thinks he's something one day or her something the next, and say, oh, well, we're just going to completely transform who you are based off what some virtue signaling 15 minutes of fame, like TikTok going viral, seemingly being a good person. It's insane. You don't care about. Imagine caring more about getting famous or getting clout or being seen as a good person by the world than your actual child. That's insane. Like, it's sickening to me. Like we've made so many videos talking about like you should not be a parent. You should not be allowed to have children. Like obviously, I'm not for like creating legislation to support that. I'm just saying like certain people shouldn't have children.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. Yeah, some are just horrible, and maybe you shouldn't be a parent depending on depending on what's going on. You know, and our foster system, I mean, you could get into it a lot, but there are good people out there that can raise a child, and there's very bad ones who have them. And it's not, and I'm not saying that's going on at home, but you're right. The problem is it's become currency now to have this like social woke belief structure, and it's a lie.
Yeah,
it's not true. There's the fact that anybody has to walk around and pretend that they stand up for this cause and they virtue signal and they do. It's like you don't do anything. You go online and type something that you know a bunch of people will approve of. That's not bravery. It's nothing. It's just nothing.
100%.
The black box.
They think it's bravery. I remember
you know how mad that made me?
I can't imagine.
It made me so. I was like, you think you're supporting black people by posting a black square?
The black square.
Well, because they don't want to donate to Black Lives Matter, Isaac. So let them post their square.
I said, what are you actually
I got so
doing,
tight about that. Yeah.
Oh,
I saw that and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like half of my friends, I'm like, could you stop doing this? It's just so demeaning. Like it just is to me, because it's basically you're just announcing a separation in people. Yes. And that's all you're doing is you're saying that like we empathize with somebody being lesser, and I don't understand how people don't see that.
Right.
Exactly.
They think they're. Part of me thinks they know. Like, why are you going to come to me, someone who has not gone through slavery, has not experienced oppression? If I've experienced racism, I was unaware, and it's just like, in this day and age, you're not dealing with that. My grandfather, he would have, I guess, a right to say, oh yeah, there's been some prejudice, there's been some racism directed towards me in terms of like jobs. Or like, okay, I understand that. And they teach that to their children, but they're just ignoring the societal changes happen throughout that time from when our grandfather to us. Because that's not how things are right now.
Even our dad, he's like 65 years old. Like he'll never say he was oppressed ever in his life. Nope. I said I had opportunity. I got a house when I was young. I worked hard when I was young, and he is where he is today. But when people today, black people, say they're oppressed, they're like, oh yeah, I was in high school, and when a slavery documentary came on, all the white people looked at me, and then that was my racist experience.
That's not racism. That's called uncomfortability.
I'm like, what? That's racism.
That's called. I felt uncomfortable because I know this happened to people that look like you back then.
That's racism. That's
all it is. It's not racism.
No,
I never.
It's so weird because like I'm Irish Italian is mainly my bloodline, but my last name is Jewish, but my real last name's Donnellan, and it was just because a local neighbor raised my dad after his dad left, because that was a lot of what the Irish did. We were like the Irish had it, very, very rough in America, and but it never, for me, it never affected me. And it's like, yes, racism exists. There are bigots. There are people that are going to be like that. But it's like, if you have to, I don't know, the way it's like being short for me. I don't know. I know a lot of women are going to look at me like I'm shit, but I don't care. I have a wife who I love. Like, it just doesn't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just how, I think it's how you handle things. I don't really know. It's like, I can't say somebody else's experience versus my own, but I do know that I would never go online and be like, this is a square to represent that I have a black friend. It's like, you're the worst person imaginable.
What's funny is they do that, and then at the same time, if you have a black friend, that doesn't mean you're not racist.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm like, actually, that's exactly what it means. Like, by definition,
when you qualify different people in your group.
Yo, if my best friend is black, that literally means I'm not racist.
Yeah.
Literally. Well, that doesn't mean anything because you just.
People say that though too.
I mean, how does that explain to me how that doesn't mean you're not racist? Like, explain how your best friend, the person you care about more than anyone other than your family and maybe your wife or girlfriend, whatever. Like, how does that make you not racist? Like, you're literally not racist. That's your best.
Then the number one way you explain him is that. That's good. That's what's so crazy, and that's what I keep seeing as the division. Like, I guess when I was getting into, like, at least my teens, and everybody was into. Everybody's kind of just into everything, and it felt a lot different. I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 40, but this was like the 90s. And I don't want to feel like you would say it was ended, because there were issues, there were riots in like LA, and there were things going on that were not, but it's like you had something where your friends were just your friends, and you made jokes, and it's just how you got along, and you really didn't look at it that way. Yeah. It just was how it was. And then all of a sudden I'm like, getting to be in like my mid to late 30s, and I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we separating everybody again? It just seems so bizarre to me. And it's the sad part is it's working, and it really should stop.
Oh yeah, honestly. Like the minority spaces in college universities that they have now. Like, black people,
which is segregation.
That's literally segregation.
Also, the white people can't show up. Like, the white people there.
Oh my lord!
It's like flipping it on its head. It's like justification for the racism that's been dealt in the past, not to you, because you haven't experienced if you're a black person living in this day and age, unless you're really old.
Unless you're from Kentucky.
It's funny how, like, even Candace Owens says this. She's like, my grandfather never acted the way that black people act nowadays. Her grandfather, he was like, work hard, apply yourself, and you can make it in this country. Nope. Not the grandson. He's like, no, I'm oppressed. I can't make it. Everything's racist. If I didn't get the job, it's because I was black. No, it's just someone who's better than you majority of the time. Someone had a better resume. They handled the interview better. Whatever reason it was, had nothing to do with your skin color. Oh, well, this job is predominantly white people. It's like, this country is predominantly white people. Like, I don't know why people want to like act like, black representation. No, reality. Like, reality.
Like, reality. I heard a lot of people, over the years, complaining about, like, okay, there's this affirmative action, there's this and that. And it's like, okay, so that's fine. Take it if that's what's owed, and that's something that's inside of the system and everything. And it's like, but then later as it goes on, it's like, don't continue the threat of not like going for it. I guess, I don't know. And then you hear, but then, then you have I think it's like, then you have white people complaining that they can't do anything. It doesn't matter what race you are. It's just a lot of people who don't want to try, and they need to find the excuse that's most comfortable for them, regardless of race. And that's the easiest one to come to. While at the same time, we're being divided now through sex to the point that it's like, you yourself can be 8 different sexes. And that's not, it's just this, it's a mass confusion to make everyone mad at each other. And I think it's going backwards.
I think it's the growth we needed in this country.
Oh yeah.
We needed to be able to just switch up whatever we are, go outside of reality and just experience crazy.
Well, if you don't think you're a cat, you're just not normal.
Yeah, if you don't think you can have a litter in school and just
there's no reason.
Meow. Like, meow. What's 1 + 1, Susie? Meow. That's right.
I was doing a bit about that, and it gets a mixed reaction, but I'm like, you don't put a litter box in. I'm like, you bully them until they kill themselves. And then when that doesn't, I go, see, but I try to get that reaction for a reason. Because I go, see, there's a pendulum though. And the pendulum is over here where you put a litter box in. And then the other side is over here where you bully them. And then there's the reality right in the middle where you just go, you're not a cat. It's that like if my son said I was a cat, I'd be like, you're an outdoor cat. And then see how long he lasted in the cold.
Yeah. Right. That's the thing. Why are we enabling these kids to think like, a kid, I'm a cat. Oh yeah, sure you are. Yeah, you're a cat. Have fun playing. But all right, Susan, you're a girl now. And all right, Brandon, you're a boy now. Like at the end of the day, let's get ready for bed. Here's your snack. Here's your treat. Wake up. Get ready to go to school. You will be who you are. Not sitting here. You know what?
You actually are.
You know what? Let's paint on some whiskers. Let's get him some cat food. It's like, no.
Or if you're a wolf,
that's insane. That's so insane.
Let's get him spayed.
Yeah, you're right.
The worst thing that ever happened.
Thank you for that.
The worst thing that ever happened to the high school situation was Be Nice.
I was about to say that. The Be Nice program. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Be Nice.
No, I didn't.
We had this Be Nice program back in high school. They just started. I was like, yeah, bullying's bad. Let's be nice. No one should be treated wrong.
Can we talk about though how everyone in the Be Nice committee was a bully?
Oh, yeah, that was. We gotta talk about.
For sure.
There's a woman who was at the head of it. Her daughter was in my class. She was always to me, always so kind to me growing up. But I'm marginalized, so that makes sense now. But like, but no, shut up. No, but honestly, no. She was so sweet to me. Oh, hi, tall, dark, and handsome. I'm like 5th grade. First of all, pedo vibes. I'm just kidding. No, I'm playing. But she was always so nice to me. But like now, I'm seeing like she was out here slowly introducing this ideology and narrative towards our community. Bullying happens. Kids are gonna be mean. But like, what you do with that? It's how your parents raise you to handle that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then it is. It makes you stronger. It's like, okay, well, if you treat boys as if you don't care what they're doing, they don't like that because they want you to be reacting to them. They want you to react. If you're not reacting, then they're gonna be mad and they're gonna go to the next person.
Yeah.
So, but this whole Be Nice program, Be Nice falsely, because there was students who would be in part of the Be Nice program that were straight up brats.
They're the worst.
I remember the popular kids were just straight up rude to everyone, thought they were better than everyone because they were either pretty or they were the captain of a cheerleader team or whatever. And I got along with everyone, so I'm not saying like I was bullied necessarily. I was also 6'3" and like 200 pounds.
Black.
Black, they're not gonna bully me. But the point is, like, it's insane. Like what's happened or what happens in these programs that are meant to be. It's like the Equality Act. It says something that you think is positive, and then you look at what it really is, and it's not. And what they're trying to do is push something, and like that's what the liberal media has done so well. Liberal politicians have done so well to the world, is they make it seem as though they care when they really don't. They're just trying to push some sort of ideology, and then we're all like blindsided by the fact. Conservatives nowadays are kind of like absolutely not, but like the left, the people that are like just good people that just want to love people and be kind to people think that, if they're Democrat or they're liberal, then they actually do care for them when they really don't. Because these organizations, LGBTQ plus, BLM, they've all been proven to not do anything to actually benefit society.
You forgot the IA on the
and the what?
You forgot the IA on the LGBTQ.
Yeah,
this is 10th power.
So it's crazy. I'm sure
it's true. No. I wasn't. It's weird. Like when I was in school, nobody really admitted to being gay. Actually, at the time. And the one who we thought was Bruce, the cheerleader, and it turned out he was just smarter than all of us. And I had a couple friends, and then when they said they were, it wasn't exactly stunning, but it was. I was like you. I was friends with everybody. My best friend's captain of the football team, but I'm a stoner, so I'm just hanging out with anybody and whoever wants to not go to class. Was my kind of how I was. So it wasn't, but I would imagine that if, we did have any of those campaigns to get along with each other, it would just come off as complete fraud because it would be the people who are trying to get extra points to get into whatever college they're easily going to slide into back when you paid somebody to get into college before Lori Loughlin got caught.
Oh, and that's what.
I mean,
and Becky.
It's like, I can't. I'm sorry, guys. This is where my bias comes in. I'll never hate her.
Nope.
No, I don't hate her at all. She's just the one that went down.
And I was so mad about it. Here's how you know people are so tied to their childhood. That's why celebrities have a huge impact on the way people believe. Because this is me. I'm very anti-LeBron, anti all these celebrities, and like, not that I hate them and want them to like die or anything, but like, like what you're spewing is nonsense. But man,
But
don't come from my Aunt Becky.
Aunt Becky.
Let me tell you, don't come from my Aunt Becky because I was so down bad for her. I wanted to punch John Stamos in the face.
Yep.
I was so down. I was so down bad. Don't kiss my woman. No, but
it's like she went in for a rowing scholarship. It's like, so who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, maybe there's something that goes into later in life, but I've never seen it.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
I don't think it's possible.
Definitely not. Yeah. We got a lot of people in the comments saying ahoy. I think they want to get a nice ahoy from you.
Oh, ahoy, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody in the comment section is like, ahoy. And people in the comments are saying, it's so funny. They're like, look at his stand-up, naming whatever your show was, like naming random shows, saying, oh, this stand-up, you need to watch this Dave.landau. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of fans.
That's awesome. Very cool.
But also, someone said this, and we were talking about Yoel Roth earlier. He said some gross stuff, but someone also posted in the comments, Chrissy Teigen also said some disgusting stuff about toddlers and tiaras. And no one wants to talk about it. I remember one of my, because we started this journey of like social media like 2 years ago. I remember making a TikTok reacting to a video of John Legend dancing with his like cheetah print robe on. Yeah, that's straight. And he was just like, F Donald Trump. I think the song was F Donald Trump. He's like dancing, all looking fruity. And I was like, bro, so I pulled up all of his wife's tweets. I'm like, do you hear what she's saying about children? Like, like just the most, I can't even remember off the top of my head. A lot of disgusting. I could pull it up.
No, the tiara.
A lot of, not even just that one though. She said like there was like 20 tweets.
Remember Tommy V would say something about that.
She was getting turned on by children dressing a certain way.
Yeah, some gross stuff.
It was nasty.
And it's like hard to totally. You're not a comedian, so it's like I don't think you're being funny. I think you're actually just gross, and you're saying stuff that makes it's like you're openly exposing yourself in a sarcastic manner, in my opinion. And it's just like, you know.
I don't know much about her, but I was watching Family Guy a couple weeks ago, and Peter got an alert, and he goes, "Oh, my phone dings every time Chrissy Teigen bullies a nobody." So that's all I know about her.
Go at random people on Twitter too.
Is that what she does? She just kind of goes at somebody and just ruins their life.
Yeah, we love to stay relevant. That's what Chrissy Teigen does.
Yeah. That's
after the All of Me music video, she realized she wasn't going to continue the fame, so she had to start hating on people.
Yeah, if you're criticizing the looks or being turned on, whatever, of kids, that's insane. That's why that show shouldn't have existed. Even when, I guess that show's older now. Obviously, maybe 10 years old, 50, whatever it is now. But I remember when that first came out, I'm like, this is the start of the fall of Rome. It has to be. And even South Park did an episode where it's toddlers and tiaras, and they're all just masturbating every single judge in every single clip. And it was so funny because it's like, that's all it is. There's no other way to look at it than complete perversion. And that, what else is it? Like, there's no reason those shows should exist.
Not at all.
Oh, never.
No, absolutely not.
Why do you want to sexualize children, man?
That's the thing.
Gross.
Why?
This is pedophilia on another level, and it's weird. It's so not even weird, it's disgusting that.
Which is weird because it's on the Learning Channel, and it's like, yeah, just tune in. This is normal. Dress up, and there'll be male judges judging what you look like.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Phoenix 7570100. Thank you for the $9.99.
Oh, nice.
We love super chats. Yeah, if you want to send more, totally okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, but no. I don't know what is it we can even do, man. Like, obviously we're gonna keep making videos, we're gonna keep posting stuff, and like and we have done things. I threw a benefit concert before I even started the social media journey. Because I had done music, and I did a benefit concert back in 2019 to like end human trafficking for an organization that was trying to do that. But it's just like there's like some organizations I feel like that are actually doing it. Like I heard.
See, that's the
issue. That's what I don't care. There was an episode, and this is where we get into the predictive programming, like conspiracy theory era, when they show you in TV what's happening in reality, but if it's on TV, you can't believe it's happening in reality because there's no way that's real.
Yeah.
There was an episode of The Blacklist where this woman had a human trafficking organization to end human trafficking. That was her whole purpose, and it got exposed like at the end of the episode that she was actually involved in trafficking. Like, and I was just like.
That's real.
That's probably happening in real life. And I wasn't even doing this, what I'm doing now. But I was like,
that the James Spader show?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think I may have seen it and blocked it out.
Dude,
okay, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. All right.
Someone said awesome lighting, Dave. So they like your LEDs up there.
Oh yeah, it's to spruce up the office. This is kind of the just area where I write and do podcasts.
We just moved from Texas. We were in Fort Worth, me and Isaac. And
Okay.
We just moved back to Michigan, where we're from, and so we had a whole studio looking like it looked better. And now we're in our parents' basement until we get our own place. So it's like this guy was talking to me, like, bro, get a green screen, bro. What is this unfinished basement that you're showing the world?
Where are you guys in Michigan, if you're allowed to say? In the
we're like right outside Grand Rapids.
Oh, right on. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Also, $5 from Remy333. Thank you,
Thanks, Remy.
Dave.
There you go.
Or Megadeth. You know what does that mean anything to you? Dave, Maiden, or Megadeth?
I think he's making you choose.
Oh, I don't know who
made choose. Oh, he's asking who I like more. Oh man, I gotta say, you know what? I here's why I'm gonna say Maiden, because I didn't have a crazy amount of love for them, and then I went and saw them live, and the live show was amazing. But I also do love Megadeth because I didn't realize Dave Mustaine basically left Metallica and was fired from Metallica and then created Megadeth and ended up creating something huge. It never was Metallica, but it was still amazing what he was able to create on his own. But I've never seen him live, so it's not really fair to compare. So at the moment, I got to say Maiden, but I do also like Megadeth.
So I don't know who either of those are. So I'm glad.
Favorite people right there.
Oh yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
Tad Robinson has something.
Just heavy metal from the 80s.
Oh, got you. Sup, Dave? Love you on Louder with Crowder.
Thank you.
We've been getting lots.
We're getting a lot of those. So I just want to give some people some recognition. Yeah. Tell Steven and the guys, y'all are awesome.
Thank you. We should be on YouTube for a couple more days.
Right, right, because you guys, what's happening with that? You guys, I'll randomly hear, all right, guys, we're back. I'm like, what?
I just noticed back on YouTube. I'm like, oh shoot, they're back. Like, because I always watch you guys.
Yeah. We get thrown off. We end up getting back on. I don't know what goes on really behind the scenes because it's all legality, but it's usually something that it's never been something that I said, and usually we're pretty sure it is. And then we end up looking into it, but it's crazy, and especially today with this Yoel Roth thing, we're just exposing it because it just needs to be exposed.
I agree.
Elon's putting it out. This is what this guy did. He's complete. Like you prevented an election from happening.
Yeah.
The level of, it's not even conspiracy. The level of actually, I don't even know what word you use when a conspiracy becomes the actual just law breaking. Yeah, the reality of just. But of this person who is responsible for, I don't care if Trump didn't even win legitimately, even though I believe he obviously.
We all do.
Yeah. I mean, if you saw, it's just because I was covering it in Detroit at my house when it happened, and I was doing the Anthony Cumia show at the time, and I'm like, oh, it looks like Wayne County's calling for Trump, which didn't surprise me at all.
Right.
At all with everybody that I know there. And then all of a sudden that cooler came in and everything. It was very bizarre.
Sketchy. It's just, I've never seen it. Just pause. Hey, we're going to go to bed tonight, guys, and we'll pick it right back up tomorrow. What?
First time.
I've never seen that in my lifetime, but it's interesting. Real quick, Ashton sent $5. Will the Smith Bros ever be a guest on Mug Club and part of a skit? Well,
I would love that. I would love that. You guys are awesome. So
thank you, man. We would love to. We're just honored to have you on here.
That you guys have
so funny.
Before the live cracked me up. I mean, it's so
Thank you.
It's just funny because we used to make skits growing up. Like we would make skits and write little weird things. And I did theater in high school and everything. And Isaac and we'd go on Vine. We thought we were gonna go viral on Vine making funny skits. We thought we were gonna be the next Logan Paul. And and it was so funny watching and seeing that. So whenever we see you guys show and you add the entertainment aspect to it, our family's so entertainment. We love entertainment. So the fact that you can mix comedy, entertainment, drama, and just put it in this space, it's so cool. So we definitely would want to do that one day. And we love to. I mean, shoot, that'd be amazing. Yeah. I don't want to invite myself. That'd be awesome.
The sketches are the most fun, and Candy Ass just took off. I just wrote it one day and we shot it, and there was a few other ones that we did that just, I don't know, they've just, people really like them. And then we did the CIA pedo one that obviously became very real. And just So it's fun to do, just to kind of throw that out there and see what you can end up making work.
Honestly, yo, it's bad. But the CIA, FBI, you're all caught like on a continuous basis doing some sus stuff.
Yeah. You're protecting Hunter. I don't need to hear anything else. Like,
honestly,
you're part of it for sure.
Protecting Hunter Biden, bro. Imagine that was Donald Jr., man. Imagine it was Eric. Anybody else?
They'd be in prison. It wouldn't even be. It wouldn't even be just hiding a laptop. 3 laptops, leaving a gun outside of an elementary school. And the reality is like, I don't care about the Russian adult prostitutes. I don't care about the drugs. Honestly, I don't care. Do what you want to do in your free time. I care about the underage sex. I care about the money being funneled in from China with proof in the laptop. Because they go, well, he's not involved. He's not. No, that is the problem. He is involved in politics with the president, funneling money in. That's the issue. If he wasn't, and he was just this degenerate kid who goes around and bangs prostitutes, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. I have friends like that, but it's not like that's not the end of the world to me. But the fact that he does have an effect on people, there's so much being hidden. Ashley Biden's diary, all that stuff that is coming to light. It's sad. And it's like, what? So it was Believe All Women 2 years ago, which was the dumbest thing imaginable.
I don't know.
And now you get to Ashley Biden's diary, and you're like, they all lie. It's not, they just ignore it.
Also, but Hunter's the smartest person Biden knows. So,
well, that makes sense.
That's what he says.
it makes sense.
It's a low bar.
Smartest guy brings a porn-filled laptop with receipts from China to Geek Squad.
It's just terrifying because you go through Twitter, and this is before Elon bought it, and you just see him sliding down a slide, clearly high on drugs, like wanking himself in a pool butt naked, and he's like, here weighing drugs and all this stuff, and we're like,
yeah, cool,
pretty intelligent.
That's not happening. Like media, like that's not like even if like he wasn't like. If Biden wasn't the president, it's like that's just news. It's not even like, what your thoughts on it are not even necessary and needed. It's just presenting it to the public is something that would make sense,
But people still deny that exists.
Yeah,
the laptop even exists.
Deny that exactly. Deny that exists. We all have access to it. There's a guy who Garrett Ziegler. There's this guy named Garrett Ziegler that we listened to the other day. He had a whole 800-page thing or something like that on the Biden laptop. Like it's real, and there's a lot of things on it that just. It's so hypocritical of our country and our government to just be so. I mean, obviously it's intentional because it's corrupt, but it's just scary to think that people are still blindly following the leftist agenda when it's so clear and it's painted so broadly. It's painted so clearly what they're doing. Like I remember, what was it? I lost my train of thought. There's something that pissed me off so much. I get
so much corruption. It is hard to remember every bit of it.
So much going on that I go. Yeah, brain goes anyway. But I just can't.
No, you are right though, because it's at what cost? I mean, that's the difference. Is I've understood that American politics is going to be corrupt. No real politician is going to change your life. Really, you have to vote into local politics. What the reality is these people are getting paid by us. They take more and more money from us. Prices are getting higher and higher to the point that I honestly don't know how people make a living. It's tragic. Like it's getting to the point where you're looking at that cost where it's hurting so many Americans. But now you're adding in these things where it comes down to pedophilia. You're talking about sex rings. You're talking about, hiding people who are in power. And you're talking about there was just, if you find this thing too, it was, I found it online the other day. It was a prank call to George Bush just recently from a guy pretending to be Russian. And he just basically lets go of every bit of information about how they're just basically forcing the Ukraine into being soldiers to die. And it's insane. And it's just George Bush because just being an idiot. And you see all this, and it's the fact that they don't pay attention. And it just shows like, okay, I get it. You're going to do things that are just going to make you rich and powerful because you're a narcissist and you're in that job. But now you're costing the lives of children. You're costing these lives of families. You're costing what more do you need to do to get what you want? Like what's your end game? And I understand, like Stephen and I talked about this on the show today. I can't comprehend the end game. Like,
Right.
what's the reward besides you going down as one of the worst people to ever live?
Yeah.
It's like it's the pride, and it's been built up through all this time. It's like I'm untouchable. It's almost like I'm untouchable. That they can't get me. They can think. I mean, with the Clintons, like we all know there's a trail of bodies that follows their name, but guess what we do? We all turn a blind eye and act like it's not there. It's not us, but like the world, the media, like it's like. Well, they'll say she's a hero and she should have won, and it was Russia collusion and all that. Like they'll say all this stuff, even though it's very clear that she is corrupt and they are corrupt and they're involved. I mean, I think they were on the flight logs as well.
We all know Michelle's a man.
then there's always Michael.
We all know that. But if you mention that, I don't know how long you're gonna.
It's a 6-inch clip. We've all seen that. And a lot of people commit suicide by running through the woods and getting shot in the back 8 times. It's also another one.
Yeah, shoot, man.
Dude,
Me and
Kumi on my old show that I did, we actually went through this Clinton body count. And I laughed for 2 straight hours. And it's like, people are like, how can you laugh at this? It's like, because it's so many, it doesn't make sense. And people's defense are, well, they meet so many people. It's like, nobody meets this many people that kill themselves. And it's not like it's a friend of a friend. It's like, this is somebody who they knew personally or shook hands with. And the list is insane when you look at it.
And the person was capable of doing something to hurt them.
Yes.
So it's like,
just coincidence.
It's like coincidence. That's some BS. I think we were talking about predictive programming in television. There's a show called Scandal, man. There's a show called I've never seen House of Cards, but I've heard that's also really sus and almost paralleling reality. But there's a show called Scandal that I watched the first few seasons of, and this is literally this program they put together called Defiance about rigging an election. A few years later, Dominion machines. A few years later, a group of people, and there's like this guy named this white guy, this black girl, what is it, Sally Link, all these people were all together. And I literally made a TikTok when I just started this journey of like social media, and I was like, yo, this is kind of low-key paralleling Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. This is kind of sus. Like this TV show just predicted what's happening, except for the other way around. Because of course on TV they were Republican because they're the bad ones. But in reality, I was just like shook.
We do know that with Dominion we had the safest and most secure.
The most secure election we've ever had.
We know
so
that.
Safe and secure.
Food for thought.
The most secure, the safest, and never more safe than
81 million votes.
Never has been, never will.
I was in DC not too long ago, well, outside of it, and I was just driving and I saw like the Dominion like voting machine company, and it looked like a Kinko's. It looked like the most easy to like manipulate crappy building imaginable, and I'm like, it really is bad that that's what our barometer of safe and secure election is. It's just tragic.
Real,
right?
No, real, no.
Because I don't believe in it anymore. I just don't. I mean, I didn't look. Mark Twain didn't believe in it. He said if the voting mattered, they wouldn't let you do it. So how all these years later, I mean, when you have the technology, why would it have changed?
Yeah, that's fair. It's like people are. It's crazy to think because like when you're a person of like a certain standard of morality and integrity, you just can't fathom lying about someone else, taking someone else's choice away for what they're voting for or whatever. So like there's people that just don't care. They're like, nope, I want what I want. You voted for this person, or there was this many votes, and it's just like we were talking about with the pornography or the child pornography. It's like as regular moral people, we can't fathom that people are actually attracted, willing to traumatize, kill, and scar these children for life. Well, there's just people that are capable of that, and it's insane.
And it's sad that it's mainstream, though. That's the problem, is what's bothering me about it, because it's like, okay, there's people that have always lurked in the shadows, but you're talking about somebody who is the head of security for the largest social media company, arguably, on the planet. That's a different level. It's like, it's not some dude driving around with melted candy in his hand in a van. It's a guy who's in charge of actually making these things possible. and that's the scary part. And Elon is pulling these things out, and the way that he's doing it is he's letting people he's giving them a chance to come forward and not put out everything at once. And I can kind of see this little like slow burn game that he's playing. Yeah. And I'm nowhere near as smart as him, so I could be wrong, but that's how it appears to me. Yeah. So I'm interested in what we've just not even seen yet, because just the little stuff that we've seen, it's like, okay, we've proven election tampering, manipulation. We've proven government involving themselves in social media to tamper with elections. We've proved in child porn trade. We've proved in sex rings. We've proven, and you look at all this stuff, and it's all right there. I don't understand why the left is going to keep jumping on this. And it's like, as somebody who was liberal, what liberal grounds does that have to do with anything? Like, you're fighting for, like, you're against the man or you're against the power. It's like, who are you fighting for? You're fighting for them.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. And this, what's weird, one thing about Elon that does make me feel weird is that, like, he says prosecute Fauci. And like, yeah, I'm down for that for sure.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Also, like, not prosecute Yoel Roth. Like, what's this dude needs? It
seems like he picks and chooses.
We need to. I mean, I'm sure you know who Bryson Gray is, or maybe not. Yeah. He got banned. He just got it back. He got temporarily banned on Twitter too. And I'm like, you can't say it for free speech and then be taking these people out. Like, bringing on who you want to. Even saying he'll never bring on Alex Jones. It's like, why? Why?
And Alex should have a platform, and I understand that. Look, I think the Sandy Hook remarks are stupid. I do, and I know I've talked to Alex. I think Alex is a decent dude. Like, he's crazy, he's out there, he's nuts, but he's not.
For sure.
But that's his niche, and I think personally, I think what he said was wrong, but that doesn't mean that he shouldn't be allowed to say it, as bad as it is to some people. It's like, being insensitive is something that is just part of free speech. You can choose to use it how you want. I choose to use it to not. I wouldn't say that myself, but I'm sure I've said a million things that I probably missaid, said out of context, can be taken out of context, whatever it is. And that's the problem, is we want to hold people to the fire for their worst moment. And once you've apologized 1,000 times for it, we don't forgive you. Like, we've completely lost that in our society, the ability to have a redemption story. It's always just, now it's just hang them and never bring them up again. Where at one point it was like, no, let's accept the apology and see how they rebuild. And now cancel just means get rid of forever. And I think that's tragic.
That's so true. It's so important that we get back to that. Because the cancel culture is just so toxic. Because now everyone's not being themselves, and they're like walking on eggshells in life, because they don't know what they're gonna do or what they're gonna say that could get them ruined in society, in the social arena. What's weird is that there's actually the show called Black Mirror that my friend keeps making me watch.
Yeah, it's like Twilight Zone. Yeah,
terrifying, because there was this one episode where there was like you basically got rated based on every encounter you had, whether you were buying clothes, whether you were shopping, if you ran your daily encounters with neighbors. If you bumped into your neighbor, they go negative 3 points. And if you did something good, then they did positive. So now you're on your best behavior, aka not being you, and like always worried about what someone's gonna do to ruin your social status or ruin your life. And I was like, this is way too close to where we're at right now in our world. I just watched the episode like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I could never. I'd be a negative 20, because I will say what I want. I will do what I want. I'm not a mean guy. I'm not a rude person. But it's just like, what? You're not gonna control me.
Absolutely
like
not.
At all.
No. Well, and it's the idea of a social credit score, and the other stuff that's been brought up it's insane. The part of the beauty of America is the fact that people have different opinions and are able to talk about them.
Right.
Some people have opinions that I don't necessarily want to listen to or believe. You don't have to talk to those people. It's fine. That's your choice as an American. But I think it's important sometimes to have people who are so actually far apart on ideology and let them talk, and you'd actually be shocked by what they end up talking about. Like, I remember, and I guess it's comic related, but like Anthony Cumia and Paul Mooney were both on the One show, and just everybody's like, well, this is just going to be explosive and bad, and it ended up being hilarious, because even though they were completely different on the social scale, and it was like, or on the political scale, like there's always makes people connect in a human way. And when people say we want to have the conversation, I've tried to do that, honestly. And I know like shows like Crowd have tried to do that. You guys are doing that. We're having the conversation. But then you have the conversation, but nobody really wants that. Nobody wants to look at the other side or listen. They just want to scream until you can't be heard.
Yeah, that's so true. So the conversation is what's so needed today. And it's not debate, conversation. Like, and I'm not trying to argue you. I just want to hear where you're coming from. I want to know how you got there, why you think that's right, why you think that's the correct solution, 100%. And let me tell you why I don't think that's right. Yeah. So I went on a date with some girl, not knowing her political ideology, and we were watching a movie, or we were watching. It was right after Roe v. Wade got overturned, like right after. And so I was like, if she's liberal, this is gonna be very touchy. And so we were talking. She was talking about Dave Chappelle. She's like, do you like comedy? I was like, yeah. She's like, what do you think about Dave Chappelle? I was like, I like his like more controversial stuff. Not gonna lie, I think it's funny. And she was like, oh, I hate that stuff. I hate that part. I don't like it at all. I was like, oh, well, what do you think is funny? Well, she told me some comedian I never heard of. And then she started, and I was like, she's like,
no
so
one's
like,
heard of him, I'm sure.
And I was like, okay, well, like, let's pivot the conversation to something different. Because if we start talking about that, I'm literally a conservative creator, you might not want me to be here. So I was like, okay. We start like, it was like weird because like there was like passive aggressive. Like we were talking about stuff. I was like, yeah, well, I think Dave Chappelle's fine because I think, she was like, I think if there's people that are offended by it, that they shouldn't have to, that he should stop doing it. I was like, okay, what if there's 1 million people that like it, but 10,000 people that don't like it? He should stop doing it? She's like, yes. I was like, but 1 million people like it, which means the minority don't. So just don't listen, right? I was like, just don't listen if you don't like it. And she was like, yeah, but like, you need to understand that like what you say can hurt people. I was like, yeah, but I'm not responsible for how people feel. Like that's like if they don't like it, they don't have to listen, and then you won't be offended. And she was just like, and it was like it kind of we had an awkward like 3 minutes after that. Started talking about something neutral, and it was fine. And then she was like, "What's your Instagram?" I said, "Oh, I don't know if you want to see that because I posted a lot of content that you're not gonna like." I said, "Just a heads up, I'm a conservative creator. Like that's my job, my full-time thing. Like I make videos and I just talk about my beliefs." And she goes, "Oh, well, what do you think about Roe v. Wade being overturned?" Yeah. I was like, here it is. I said, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good. I was like, I just think she was like, and she said something earlier about bodily autonomy, but that was in terms of the vaccine. And I was just like, I was like, okay, cool. I'm for bodily autonomy too when it's actually your bodily autonomy. And then she was like, I was like, I think it was a good thing. And she was just like, oh, why? And we kind of had a discussion. And this is a long story, so I can shorten it down. I was basically just like, she got to the point, but she was just like, I actually understand where you're coming from. I think it's okay. I think it should be a woman's choice, but I understand why you think that way. And she wasn't like, I hate you. It was like, I understand how you come to those conclusions, why you believe the way you believe. It was a fruitful discussion to where she thought, okay, I understand what he's saying. And she couldn't really rebut anything I was saying, but she was just like, still in the moment, like, I'm not going to be combative. I'm not going to be angry. I'm just like understanding. And that's how everything should be. We shouldn't have to be so like, I hate you. How dare you? You hate women because you know they can kill their baby. Like, 100%. No, I don't hate women.
I definitely think that white people should be able to tell me I like fried chicken and Kool-Aid, and it's okay. It's okay.
That's racist. You know what's crazy?
But so do we. That's the problem.
That's the thing. It's not a big deal because most people do.
How do you not?
That's what.
That's the crazy part. Is everything that's like, oh, they like this. It's like, yes, it's very good. It's not. Why would you? Like, if you know a barbecue place, sorry, but it's like, yeah. There's a black guy cooking. That's it's good news. I like it is what it is. It's not. I don't even see how that's racist. It's just what it is.
Thank you. Can that just be what everyone just says from now on? It is watermelon. What it is.
Yeah, it's like dude. And with comedy too, what's interesting is who's the comic that you would say, and maybe I don't know if you guys. I mean, obviously you guys will know what this is, but who's the comic that you would say across the board that everybody liked the most?
The comedian that everyone
of all time, everybody liked the most. Like who pleased everybody?
Pleased everybody?
not offensive, pleased everybody, most popular.
He said, "Would you say
Norm Macdonald?
Bill Cosby.
I was gonna say
Think about it though, but like when you think about it, like that is the guy who pleased everybody. It's like, look, I was a huge Bill Cosby fan. I'm not gonna lie, he's a brilliant comic, but it's like he's a sociopath, and there's that thing where to be a real comic, you have to be pissing a couple people off. That's the truth.
100%.
If you look at Norm, like you just said, if you look at Pryor, if you look at Carlin, if you look at Chappelle, you look at Bill Burr, they're pissing people off. That's just part of it. Patrice O'Neill, one of my all-time favorites, pissing people off. Nick DiPaolo, pissing people off. Jim Brewer gonna piss people off. Like it's just Joan Rivers piss people off. Like that's just what like you're not going to please everybody across the board. And the only person who I think has ever done it is a sociopathic rapist.
I love the Cosby Show, man.
Dude, it was a great show. Like Bill Cosby himself is one of the greatest stand-up specials ever recorded. Like, and a lot of people won't say that now, but it's like you can't pretend you weren't a fan of the biggest show ever.
I know.
You just can't.
When he said to Fedor, and like one of the first things I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. I was literally crying. I was like, I couldn't fathom that he just said that to his son.
And the one time he swore, it just leveled the room because it was perfect in his set where he just goes, or when he just goes, what was it? With cocaine, he goes, it enhances your personality. He goes, well, what if you're an asshole? And it was just this perfect line that everybody loved, and it was just because it came out of Cosby. It was shocking and funny. And like,
he's a family man. He's out here like that's so
perfect family.
He was a perfect family teenage dad. That show. Cosby.
Yeah, he was America's dad. Like when I grew up, that's honestly who everyone looked at as a dad. So like it's the most disappointing thing that ended up happening. You know.
Did you hear what he just said though?
What's that?
When he grew up, he was everyone's dad.
100%.
He grew up in a time not like what it is right now. And he was everyone's dad, white, black, whatever you were.
Everyone. It didn't matter.
His dad. Just think about how more not inclusive, but how united we were then to where we are now. It seems like because now it's like they try and force some black dad in a TV show to be America's dad instead of just letting the character who everyone loved be the character who everyone loved and looked up to.
Well, yeah, you're watching Blackish and Off the Boat and all this other horse shit. Sorry, pardon my language. I don't know if you.
I don't look up to Dre at all on Blackish.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
he's not a good role model.
But Uncle Phil was, and I watched that every week.
Yeah, exactly. Fresh Prince.
He
is.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Oh, he's dead now. Yeah, he's dead now. Yeah. Yeah, but it's like he was a role model because that's who you looked up to. Carl Winslow on Family Matters was a role model that you looked up to. Yeah,
literally, you look up to. You loved them. Yep. And
you had three father figures on Full House. That wasn't for some reason.
And Jesse. Yeah.
But you had these. Yeah, there was always something to the positive male role model in a house on those shows, but it wasn't dude, 100%.
Yeah. They taught good morals, good, like you gotta be a good person. They weren't going all deep into detail of how you in your individual life need to live every single day and how you must react this way to certain groups and blah blah blah. It was just, hey, be kind to people. Hey, don't do drugs. Hey, do like the super simplistic, important things that you should know as a child. And you watch that and you're like, all right, I'm not going to go that way because Joey told me, Uncle Joey told me not to. Uncle Jesse said not to do that. Uncle Phil told me not to do that. Like, and it's just, or Bill Cosby. What was his name? It was Bill. No, it wasn't Cosby. Huxtable. It was
Cliff Huxtable, Dr. Cliff Huxtable, who later we realized was a gynecologist who worked out of his basement, but at the time didn't bother us.
No, never. No. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
We gotta get back to those times. We gotta get back to those times, and all we can do that is like all coming together and just continuously speaking about how stupid the other side is acting. And it's like I've said this, and I'll say this to the day I die. It's not the people that are liberal. I don't think they're the problem. It's the establishment. It's institutions. Because I think the people that are liberal, most of them just care about people. Well, people should be able to do what what they love and blah blah blah. It's like, right. except for, if you cut off your penis, that's probably not a good thing. So, like, no, don't do that. Like, that's not something that
it could have side effects.
We should not encourage that behavior. That's actually caring about someone, saying, hey, no, you're not a girl.
Yeah, being on drugs for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But like, oh, look who that benefits, Big Pharma. Like, you got to be on all these drugs your whole life. Like, oh, I wonder who's actually benefiting from this. Not you. You got to go through like years of therapy and you kill yourself in 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah.
And Big Pharma's done wonders for people. I think it's great. It's just and I remember I worked in a pharmacy during the Oxy boom in the 90s, and it wasn't, you would sign with an Oxy pen. They had girls that would go around and like to the different doctors and kind of promote this stuff. And it started out of, I believe it was the Richmond, Virginia area is why, and then West Virginia kind of started getting hooked on it. And, you started seeing pill mills and prescriptions being sold and all that. And I remember, and at that time it was, a lot of it was being calculated by weight, not just individual pills. So I could take, like a handful, throw it in my cigarette cellophane and have a nice couple of days. But I remember when that happened, because it was something that was so completely addictive that it became so overprescribed. And then once they realized, they were like, okay, well, we're being caught for this. Now it's underprescribed and people are turning to the streets. And now it's never been more lethal because of fentanyl. Like the irresponsibility of those companies and the lives that they've caused is mind boggling.
That's so true. Dang.
Fentanyl nowadays
is
dangerous.
Dung is fun. $5 for Dung is fun. My favorite father figure on the TV show was Al Bundy.
I loved Al Bundy. I loved him.
And Applegate was in that show, right?
Wait, is that Tim Allen?
Ed O'Neill.
It was Ed O'Neill.
The block was it started with what was on? It was The Simpsons, Married with Children, In Living Color, and then there would be a third one that was a mix of like Drexler's Class and Herman's Head, and they always try Parker Lewis Can't Lose. But yeah, Al Bundy was one of my all-time favorites ever.
Dang.
No, that was the degenerate. That took white trash to a whole new level. It was the greatest show. I loved that show, which would never exist today in a million years.
Well, white trash isn't a thing,
Yeah, they're all privileged, man. What are you talking about?
Yes.
No, I was watching, bro. I kid you not. Remember that show, Cloak and Dagger?
Oh yeah.
Cloak and Dagger was a show that was on Freeform about a black guy who was. They were superheroes from Marvel. The one's white, one's black. The girl's white, the guy's black. He was raised in privilege, actual privilege. He had privileged parents that worked hard. He had a successful family. He went to a private school. She was on the wrong side of the tracks. I think her mom was like a drug addict or something. Anyways, they had their episode where he tried to say he was trying to talk about how she has privilege. He was like coming to her, and it was very subtle. And I was like, "Excuse you." It's like Carlton coming at freaking Zach Morris, I guess, was decent.
He was pretty privileged.
I'm talking who
Slater wasn't as much. No,
that's like freaking Carlton coming.
Oddly enough, Lisa Turtle was the most privileged on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa Turtle.
Exactly,
Daddy. Yeah, here's millions of dollars. You get whatever you want, sweetie.
Yeah. Kelly was the poorest and Lisa was the richest. That was the whole scale of money on that show.
Literally, it's insane, but it's like, no, you're privileged. Are there certain people that are racist? Yes. Are there certain people that are going to react, that are going to make you feel like you're lesser because of that? Yes. But your money and your status and your power, majority of people are totally going to be cool with you, regardless of what your skin color is. And I'm so, it's so ridiculous. Most people I say 98% of the world does not care about your skin. Well, not 98%. Let's say the country. I'm not going to speak for the countries because I'm not living in them.
I would say 90.
But 98% of this country is not like that.
Well, no, if you make over $30,000 a year, you are in the top 1% globally. I mean, that's part of that too, that, we don't realize. And and you're right. I mean, when you look at, the idea of privilege, there is, I mean, I can't say that I didn't come from poverty. But my dad did. I didn't, I had a bad card dealt to my family, but it's like, I had food on the table every night. I can't pretend that I didn't, I mean, that's the reality. If that's privilege, I'll take it, Yeah. So it's like but the reality of life too is no one cares how big your house is, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of car you drive. No one. It's really the truth. Especially your friends, they don't. And it's just once you kind of realize that and realize that one of the best virtues you can have is just simply being kind to people, your life's going to be pretty decent because people tend to treat you the same way you treat them. It's not always going to be like that, but that's like the slightest thing you can do is just not be a dick to people. And for some reason, we've lost the sight of that completely.
We really have. We have a comment from Country said, "I hate everyone equally." Well, thank you for that.
Well, I agree with that as well on many levels.
$5 from Dad.landau. I don't know how to say that. Is to say you're prejudiced against all races. H.J. Simpson.
Which is fair. Yeah, there's people in every race I hate.
Yeah, and it's because here's the thing: you cannot like if you're a white person, you cannot like a black person because of the person, not because of their skin color. It's not everything's not attributed to your skin color, and that's a problem. Like I just don't like you. Maybe that's what it is. You're annoying. You're a brat. You're stupid. You're rude. You're whatever. Yeah. It's nothing to do with the way you look. Just your personality. What's on the inside? I don't like that.
Yeah, just the individual, getting to know them. That's what I hate about it. That's Dennis Miller said that years ago. So there's no reason to do a skin color when it's just I get to know you and that's enough.
Exactly. Well, I don't want to take away all your time. It's been like an hour and 15. It went by really quick. But before we do go, can you tell everyone where they can find you? I have your website up right here, so if anyone wants to check it out, I'm assuming this is you.
Yes, that's me. I used to be happy.
I used to be happy.
I'm getting a new site too, so that's why there's only the next upcoming dates there for Syracuse, New York, and then Toledo on New Year's Eve. I'm gonna be, but my new site should be up any day now. We're trying to work on that, and then that's my site, and then also what is it? Dave.landau on Instagram and @LandauDave on Twitter.
Okay, make sure we'll put those in the description below, guys.
Thank you.
Go follow him. Go check out go watch his shows. Hilarious. Buy some tickets. It's gonna. I guarantee it'll be hilarious. So be sure to check that out ASAP. Go to Dave.landau.com. Go to his Instagram. I'll put everything in the description below. Be sure to go support this guy because we've been watching him for years and we love him on the Crowder Show. And we just I think we'll probably show up at one of these shows. Are you ever gonna be in Grand Rapids?
I will. I usually do the Bob, so I heard Branch reopened. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I need to go back there because I heard they reopened, and then there's a room next door. My agent I know was talking in, but yeah, I used to do the Bob every year, and then people kept dying, and they put in nets.
Yep.
Remember that? Yeah, like not to make light of it, but you figured they put in a net after the first one, and so yeah, I'd like to go back there. I've had some really crazy experiences there too.
You should definitely come. We would love that. And one more time before we do go, whatever the name is, loves to send us money, and we appreciate it. Patty L. Smith is a good dude, and he runs a bunch of good live streams. Thank you. This is the Smith Bros. We're all together, but I guess you might be watching
Shout out,
because we have such an awesome guy on today. We put it on all 3 channels. Hey, it's Dave.landau, Fat Albert. Okay.
Fat Albert.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you so much.
Cosby Kid.
We got to do this again sometime. If you're available, that'd be so cool to have you on again.
I would love to. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, we'll see you next time.
All right, talk to you later.
Peace.
Guys,
that was Dave.landau. I'm so hyped. That was huge for us, man. We love that guy. We've been watching the Louder with Crowder show forever, and seeing his commentary, like literally, like I didn't know like he was like the second guy, like but like I remember the last couple of years watching his channel and just thinking like this guy's so funny, like he cracks me up. His
hosted the Louder with Crowder show by himself. I'm just like,
and it's been just as good. As good. So guys, be sure to go check him out, Dave.landau. Landau. I said it right. He's so fun. Before we do go, as always, be sure to check out our MyPillow.com sponsor. Guys, if you want to support this channel, you can go in the description below. Go to MyPillow.com. Support this channel. Support us. We have Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, whatever you want to do. If you want to support this channel, guys, there is some stuff we want to get to update and elevate this channel and elevate SmithBros. Subscribe to SmithBros. We want to be able to get cameras. We want to be able to get a producer. So if you can support us in any way by either buying MyPillow.com, it is Christmas time. Buy them pillows, slippers,
get your
beds,
family member a gift,
or just give a donation to us and on any of those things down below. We would really appreciate it. We love you guys. We don't want to waste time just telling you guys about supporting or giving us money, but it would be very helpful to us on our show. So thank you so much. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Subscribe to Phil, subscribe to Dave.landau, subscribe to I, subscribe to me, subscribe to SmithBros. Peace out. Appreciate it.